Okay, solution 4 is one I am a big fan of, and it's meditation. And it took me till I got into my 30s to really appreciate that meditation was a beneficial thing to be doing. Before that, I kind of had this perspective of it as a really esoteric, sitting cross-legged, much like this lady is here, on a mountaintop somewhere, becoming some monk-type figure. Meditation doesn't need to be like that. If that approach works for you, fantastic. Go ahead and engage with it. What works for me is just simply sitting in a comfortable chair, closing my eyes, and focusing on my breathing. What will happen if you're not used to doing that, or you're not used to sitting still, is that thoughts will come racing into your head. You know, oh, I've got to phone my girlfriend later, I've got to do that for my boss, I've got to get this organized. All of those things will attempt to come into your mind space during your meditation. If they do, that's completely fine. Allow that to happen, but also do not grasp onto them. Let them go at the same time. So if a thought comes into your head, let it come in, and let it go out without attaching with it, without engaging with it whatsoever. Otherwise, you're just spending time daydreaming or thinking still, and those two states will ultimately exhaust you. What you need to do is just focus on your breathing. And when I started off meditating for 2 minutes at a time. And it was awesome that I could sit still for that long at that point, because I was so physically active and energetic to keep moving, that I found that a huge challenge. Other people might be fine, and for the very first time they do it, they might sit down, close their eyes, 20 minutes goes by, and they feel at ease and comfortable with doing it. So what I would suggest is, if you're going to begin to use meditation, do it for between 2 and 5 minutes to start off with, and over a period of days and weeks, build it up. I have an approach that I've taken for the last 2 years, which is I meditate for 24 minutes a day, 1 minute for each hour of the day. And I'll do it usually mid-afternoon, and I'll take a seat, focus on my breathing, and again, when I come out of that, state-wise, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to give my afternoon, my evening, everything that I'm capable of. So if there are any people who've been skeptical about meditation in the past, there's loads of great research on it, and it does a lot for you, both physically, physiologically, and psychologically and mentally. It will put you at your best. And I'd encourage you, if you are a skeptic, to go and have a look at some of the research that's been done on meditation. I can point you towards some if you're interested in that afterwards. And it is one of those things that I have made now a discipline in my life, like brushing my teeth, like doing my high-intensity exercise. It's one of those things that is an essential discipline, and I wouldn't want to have to live without that. Another solution to stress. We're going to move slightly more onto the psychological approaches to stress now. And first of all, do you remember the first stressor we said? The first condition that causes stress is change for most people. And having a positive attitude to change is essential. It is the one thing, as I think I said earlier, that is inevitable in our lives. If you're opposed to change, you're going to get left behind. In fact, the only time we don't change in our lives is when we're dead. So be prepared for a lot of change in your lives up to that point. And fostering a positive attitude to change, dealing with circumstances as they arise, and learning to know that you are going to be okay, you are going to be able to deal with this, is really important. That moves on to positive thinking, which is easier said than done in some ways, because we can be caught up in our own subconscious psychological beliefs about ourselves, and they may hold us back from having a positive attitude at times, particularly when we're under stress. It's when we're under stress that the worst side of our characters will often come out. You know, we might get grouchy, we might get grumpy, we might get aggressive, some people get manipulative, and it's important, if you catch yourself going to that place, to keep positive, to keep thinking about what you can provide, what you can do for yourself, and what you can provide other people. Positive self-talk is something that is covered in a lot of sort of self-help psychological books, And I would encourage people to do it and to give yourself some positive affirmations. The thing I would say with positive affirmations is that they can be really dangerous if you don't actually believe in them. So just saying to yourself, I am fantastic with women, if you genuinely don't believe that about yourself, is not going to help you, because the mind will see a distance between what you're trying to tell it and reality. So in those circumstances, what I would do is pick an occasion in your mind where you have been effective at doing something. So let's say it's, I can approach women on the street. And you've had an example where you have done that in your life in the past. Pick that example and say, I can do that. So you're visualizing a successful moment that you've previously had in your mind from your past. Then a positive affirmation will be rooted to reality in your mind, and it can be beneficial. And that repetition creates that same state that you had at that point in the past. I'm not afraid to say that I really believe in mentoring. And if you can not relate to my success, the guy who's my mentor was working with somebody who is, 2 years ago, was completely unemployed. And in the last 6 months, they have won a BAFTA. So they went from being unemployed to having a BAFTA award, which is a pretty big deal. I would encourage all of us at some times need an outside perspective. It's really good to be able to be self-motivated, self-driven. At times we need that outside perspective that will give us, okay, if I just change this angle a little bit here and move in that direction, I can get to that place. Having a good mentor can be something that really drives your life forward in a new direction that your own mind may not have been able to take it in, at least at that time or at this time. So that's something that I encourage you to look into. Solution 6. I'm a really big fan of goal setting. For any area of your life that you consider important, set goals. Set your first important priority. What is it I'm looking to achieve in this sphere? What do I want to have happen? And make those goals time-bound. Now, luckily, my co-author with One Diet has written a book called Change Directions, which I would encourage you all to read, which is a goal-setting process